Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I'm Amma Mama, and I want to go ahead and do my TBR for May. I'm filming this, it's still technically in April, so I may finish the last book that I have from my April TBR, which is The Talesman by Stephen King. But it's a very large book and there's not that many days left in April. So I'm not sure. So I'm going to probably, I'm going to see how far I can get in it. And it'll also depend on I don't remember what this one is about. If it's kind of like a fantasy story or if it's more like a horror. So some of it may depend on what kind of a book this turns out to be, because if it's something that's either gory or scary or, you know, whatever the case may be, sometimes I blow through Stephen King books and sometimes they take me a bit longer to read. And the books that I have had this month that were Stephen King, they so far have been ones that have been taking me longer to get through. So I'm not sure about this one. So I'm going to kind of leave it up in the air, but if I don't finish it, still I'll just, continue reading it into May. So I want to go ahead and pull from my TBR jar that I have all the books that I have. I forgot too that I mentioned in my other video that I had my jigsaw puzzle that I had done. Let me see if I can get this down without breaking anything. But this was my Stephen King jigsaw puzzle. It's just lots of book covers and from quite a few of his books and everything. So after I finished it, I glued it together and I got a little poster frame for it because it was one I wanted to keep. So I haven't decided where I'm going to hang it yet, but that one I did want to keep. And I was just glad that I had finished it, because the first time I had tried to work on it last year before my mom had passed away, I was just having a hard time focusing on it, and I just thought, oh man, this puzzle is just really hard. And then I put it together while I was listening to Needful Things, and doing that I was like, oh, okay, it really wasn't that, it was kind of hard because, the covers look alike, there's duplicates of the books and stuff, but it wasn't too bad. So it was kind of fun to work on that puzzle while I was reading my Stephen King books. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and draw from here, and again, kind of like I did last month, depending on what books I get, the size they are, what genre they are, like all of that will kind of determine how many books I decide to read. Because, I've had some months where I've drawn like 10 books and read more than that. But then like this month I had, only picked 5, and I've finished 4, and I'm going to see how far I get in the 5th. So we'll see how many I decide to do based on what kind of book and how they look. So, okay, the first book that I drew is Edenville by Sam Rebelin. So Edenville by Sam Rebelin. This is actually one of my new ones, and this one had something to do, I don't even remember now. I bought this a while ago. This was one of like my most recent book hauls that I did. So I don't remember what this one was about. There's a place called Edenville. Somebody doesn't want to move back there because there's something wrong. Just says horror and humor. So we'll see. I don't know a lot about it. I'm not going to read all of the stuff right now, but this one is a horror novel. It's not that long. I've never read anything by this person. And if it is humorous as well, that'll help with the reading of it. So we'll see how that goes, but I'm going to go ahead and keep drawing. I almost feel like, I hope I'm not kind of cheating because I know that my, sorry, my papers are sticking together a little bit, and that some of my fatter papers are my newer ones and my thinner papers are my older ones. So I'm trying to make sure I'm not just purposely feeling for and grabbing the fatter papers. Okay, so the next one that I drew is, well, you can't see. I don't know why I'm trying to show you. You can't see it. It's Kipling, and this is a selection of his stories and poems. I don't remember, when I got this book. It's really old. Like the pages are yellowing, and you can just kind of feel that it's getting old. And the copyright on, I think this particular one is from 1956. So this is a pretty old copy. What's kind of fun about this, I'm actually excited to read this. What's kind of fun about getting the Kipling book is that right now in school for my son, we are actually reading a selection of Kipling poems. So we're reading like one poem every day. And so it's kind of fun to get this. Plus, this one actually contains the Jungle Book. I've never actually read the Jungle Book, so I'm excited to read this. So now that I've been learning more about his life also, and I'll talk more about that maybe when I finish the book, when I do like the wrap up on it. But I've been, along with what we've been reading for the poems, we're reading some like some biographical information about Kipling. And so it's been really interesting to learn a bit about his life and where he grew up, and how he was raised and the kind of person he was and everything. So I'm excited to read this Kipling book. All right, so we're at 2. Let's draw another one. I can tell it's gonna be a newer one. Oh, okay. This one is the next one's gonna be The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. Okay, so The 7-Year Slip, and this one, again, when I bought these, I know I've seen people review this and I've heard pretty good things from people, but I don't really remember which one this is. Oh, that's right. This is the one. Yeah, so, I'm obviously late to the game because people have probably seen this all over. But this is the one where the girl she moves into an apartment, and the apartment time travels. And so she is meeting, I don't know exactly how it comes about, but she's interacting with a man who's like 7 years in the past, I believe. And so she's 7 years in his future. So I've heard good things about this. I'm really excited to read this. And I don't know, maybe I'm just kind of weird, but I love the bright yellow cover. So I'm excited to read this. Plus, after having mostly dark, novels for a month, I'm looking forward to reading something that's a little bit lighter. And so, I know I got a horror, but I don't know. It'll be nice to have what I hope is like a romance kind of thing. Okay, so the next book that I got is The Hanging City. This is one that was a Goodreads giveaway, and this is on my Kindle. I believe I think that one was a fantasy as well. So again, I'm not going to talk a whole lot about a lot of these because I don't want the video to be, too long, but okay, then, I'm really excited for this one. The next one is Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayher. Maybe it's just Mayer. I'm not sure how the last name is pronounced, but I'm really looking forward to this book. Again, I think that it's like a humorous kind of, I don't know if it's a horror or if it's a, what am I trying to say? Like a thriller kind of thing, but Evie it looks like is her name, but she is working for the villain, basically. She is literally the assistant to the villain. And I will read this part just because I think it's funny, but it says, so when she gets used to severed head suspended from the ceiling and the odd squish of the errant eyeball beneath her heel, Evie suspects this dungeon has a huge rat, and not just the literal kind, because something rotten is growing in the kingdom of Renindon, and someone wants to take the village and his entire nefarious empire out. Now Evie must resist not only drooling over her boss, but also figure out exactly who's sabotaging his work and ensure he makes them pay. After all, a good job is hard to find. So I know that I've heard, I've seen people do reviews on this, but they didn't say a whole lot, which, is understandable because you don't want to give away too much of the book. But I've heard kind of mixed reviews. Some people that I watched really liked it. I've seen people who just thought it was okay. So I'm hoping that I enjoy it. I mean, just from the blurb on the back, it sounds like it'll be kind of funny, even though, there's some stuff that is obviously on the darker side. But this is one I also am looking forward to reading. I'm going to go ahead and keep going. I'm at 4 right now. Maybe I just have high hopes for the month, but I want to try to get... I'm trying to not cheat, but I don't, like I said, I don't want to only pull from my new books. I want to also make sure I get at least a couple of my older stash that I had, just so that, just so I'm getting through the ones that I've had on my shelf the longest. Okay, the next one, where is this one? Okay, the next book is Sign of the Oin. I don't know how that's pronounced. O-I-N, by L.G. Bass. This one, I think I found this at a used bookstore, and I just thought it had a really cool cover. And even on the back, there's this dragon. I know nothing about this. Other than what I had read originally when I got it. So for this one, I've never seen anybody talk about this one, and maybe that's because, again, this was, back in 2004. So this is another one that's a little bit, older of a book. But on the sleeve, it says, a volcanic eruption releases a vanguard of demons sealed away for centuries beneath the earth. Soon after, the Emperor's first son is born, marked with the sign of the Quinn. I just realized, okay, so obviously, I can't read. And when I looked at this cover, I thought that was O-I-N with a line underneath it. And I just realized they were just making a really fancy Q. So I still could be saying it wrong, but it's a Q, not an O. So, marked with the sign of the Quinn, the brand of the outlaw. Could the child be the new Star-Lord destined to restore justice to the land? The Emperor plots to kill his only heir before the boy can usurp his throne. But the assassin is foiled by a mysterious monk whose magical tattoos foretell the future, and a trickster monkey who longs for immortality. A host of warring guardians must ultimately unite to help the Star-Lord unlock the kung fu secrets of the 12 scrolls and save the earth from destruction. But first, the prince must fulfill his destiny and join the twin leaders of the legendary outlaws of the Moonshadow Marsh in a war against the Lord of the Dead. The first in a trilogy, Sign of the Quinn draws upon the Chinese myth and legend, a tour de force of classic storytelling. Okay, so apparently this is part of a trilogy, which I didn't know, and that's fine. I'm definitely going to read this because it sounds good. Like I said, the cover looked really cool. I'm definitely interested to see what happens in here, and if I do enjoy it, maybe I'll try to find the rest of the books that go with it. So now we're at 3, 4, 5, 6 if I count the one I haven't read. So I do want to do maybe a couple of more because a couple of these, I know they're going to be maybe quicker reads for me because they're not all that long. Again, last month, like the Stephen King books that I got, all of them were over 500 pages. And even the book that I had on my Kindle that I just finished today, The Practice House, that one was also almost 500 pages. So all of the books I had last month were just huge. So, okay. So this book that I got is Alex Cross, The Trial of the Century. And for some reason, I'm not finding that right now on this shelf, which is really weird because I know I didn't read it. So the Alex Cross book that I drew out of here, The Trial of the Century, I'm not finding it on this shelf. I will still look in case I had it out here and then either moved it, or I don't even know what would have happened to it because I don't remember reading this one. If I don't find it, I'm gonna read Cross Justice. And this one just says, when his cousin is accused of an unthinkable crime, Alex Cross returns to his North Carolina hometown for the first time in over 3 decades. As he tries to prove his cousin's innocence in a town where justice is hard to find, Cross unearths a family secret that forces him to question everything he's ever known. Chasing a ghost he believed was long dead, Cross gets pulled into a chase involving a string of murders, and now he's on a hot trail of both a cold-hearted killer and the truth about his own past, and the answers could be fatal. Or the answers he finds could be fatal. So this one, I'm going to still draw another one. This is great because usually, and I hope it's the case for this one too, usually I can find a copy of the audiobooks of these on like Libby, and that way I can listen to them because, again, I like the person who narrates the Cross books, and these are really nice to have like if I'm driving or when I'm cooking and things like that. I like to listen to these. So I'm actually excited to have something that I know I can usually listen to as an audiobook. Okay, let's do one more. So this is kind of funny because I just drew the next book, which is Cross Justice, which is the one I said I was going to read if I don't find the other Alex Cross book that I couldn't find. So that kind of worked out, I guess. So we'll leave that as it is, and then okay, so and I think this is going to be the last one, but the book I drew this time is A Tall Dark Trouble, and this is by Vanessa Montalban, and this was one that was a Goodreads giveaway that I won, and so this was sent to me. So that's actually great because I got it not too long ago, and so I definitely want to read this so I can put a review. This one says, the Sanchez women aren't just unlucky in love, they're cursed. 18-year-old twins Delphi and Leela know better than to play with magic. Their lives are marked by a malevolence that's followed their family from Cuba to Miami, poisoning any chance at romantic love. It's no wonder their mammy has forbidden them from getting involved with the supernatural. When Leela and Delphi receive premonitions of a mysterious killer targeting brujos, however, the sisters must embrace their emerging powers to save innocent lives. Teaming up with their best friend. Okay, so I was right in the middle of recording, and I apparently ran out of storage on my phone, which is frightening because I have a lot of storage available. And a lot of it uploads to the cloud. So I had to go through and delete a bunch of stuff, and I'm going to have to go and delete more. But, so I think I said everything that I wanted to say because I don't remember where I left off. So hopefully this all pieces together well, but I have, a big old stack of books. I feel okay having this many books on here for this coming up month just because most of them are not huge, and then I've got like the Kipling one I'll probably read a little bit each day, the Alex Cross, James Patterson novels. If I do find the one that I should have but that I don't have where it should be, I'll just add the second one. I'll do 2. Otherwise, I'll only read Cross Justice. But that gives me quite a bit for the month. But again, none of them are as huge as what I had for April. So I think it is doable. That gives me 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 books for May. If I find the other Alex Cross book by James Patterson, if I don't find that one, then that'll just be the 8. And then if for some reason I finish those, especially if the Talesman by Stephen King ends up taking me a little bit longer to read, that might, dip in a little bit into May. So we'll see. But if I do for some reason finish everything, then I'll just pick something to read, or maybe I'll draw from my jar just to kind of make it a little bit more fair, so I don't just automatically grab a new book. But I've got plenty to read. I hope everyone has a great week, and that, as you are moving into another new month, it feels like I don't know, do you only say this as you get older, where you're like, man, I can't believe it's already X month, but legitimately, I can't believe it's already May. Like, it feels like, it was just the new year, and now here we are getting close to halfway through this year. So anyways, I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you next time. Bye. Okay, as I was sitting here editing, I was driving myself crazy in my video because I keep saying the Stephen King book that I have is The Talesman, but it's The Talisman, and I know that, but for some reason in this video, every time I talked about it, I kept saying The Talesman, and it was driving me crazy. So I had to come and just put a little blurb here at the end so that I corrected the title of that book, because watching my video while I was editing it was driving me nuts. So I will talk to you all next time. Have a great week. Bye.